Hi everyone, I'm Bonita from rural Kansas and I am early retired. I retired early at almost 58 years old in October of 2023. I am now 60 years old. I am riding it out until Social Security kicks in, and I love frugal living. I share tips and tricks on this channel, and it has afforded me the opportunity and choices to have the freedom that I wanted at an earlier age. I hope you enjoy this video. I am always looking for ways to save money, and I pass those on to you. And these are things that I use myself. So I've personally tried these ways and they have helped our electric bill. Prices are rising. We've been able to keep our electric bill around $70 to $72. We try to do that even in the summertime and in the winter when we run a space heater. Sometimes it goes a little bit above that, but we do the very best we can. We keep an eye on it all the time. And one of my favorite new things that I'm using this year is a USB operated collapsible fan that I have right here by my desk. Now, I plug this into my computer. You might want to have a cooling pad if you're worried about your computer getting too hot. I never run it long enough that it's really an issue for me, but I took this on my 19-day car camping trip. I plugged it straight in to my battery charger in my car, and I ran it all night long in the desert to keep myself cool. That way I didn't use my battery on my car or anything like that. The fan is highly efficient and it uses much less electricity than a traditional fan. In fact, I researched it, and a fan like this uses between 2.5 and 4 watts, where a regular fan will use between 40 and 100 watts. Because USB ports are limited in how much energy they can actually pull. This one has 2 speeds. A lot of times I can just have it on low, but that one's on high, and it really pushes out the air for how small it is. And I just keep it right here by my desk because I believe in heating the person instead of the entire house when there's just me at home. I also believe in cooling the person instead of the entire house when only I am home. And that's one of the ways I save money while I am not working and staying in my own home the majority of the time. My next tip is to use your laptop or to use your iPad if you have one to stream rather than watching TV. Using these two devices actually uses a lot less electricity. In fact, we have a Roku box and we keep it on a power strip with the television, and we have it shut off unless we are watching. And you can do the same thing if you have a cable box, and that will save you money. So I even can watch Hulu right here on my laptop, which saves me from having all of those bigger devices plugged in to do the same thing. Our electric company suggests that you check your outside doors for any heat or AC loss that is not sealed around your door. You can lose about $45 to $100 worth of electricity during the winter on heat if your door is not sealed, and they say you can lose about double that in the summertime on AC loss. When it is hot or humid in the house, I do not cook in the house. I have a small table outside with an outside outlet. I have a turkey roaster that I will use. I have a crock pot I will use, and I do any cooking or baking out there when at all possible. And inside, I only use the stovetop burners. This keeps my house from heating up so that I don't have to run the AC to then cool it back down. So that saves me money. You may hear something running in the background. That is actually my dehumidifier. I just plugged it in. It was 89% humidity in the house, and it will run until it's about 48% or the water gets full in the tank, and then it will automatically shut off. When it shuts off, I will use that water and pour it on plants if I need to, pour it to flush the toilet, and I can reuse reduce that water. Right now it's so wet outside though, I do not need that extra water. But that dehumidifier drops the temperature in the house by lowering the humidity. If you have a weather app, a lot of times it will say it is this temperature, but it feels like this temperature. And a lot of times that has to do with the humidity. Right now, our humidity has been high. We've had a lot of rainstorms. They are trying to get the wheat cut, but they can't because the ground's too soft and they'll get stuck, or the wheat is too wet, so they can't cut it and take it to the elevator. And it is just muggy. So if you want to lower the temperature in your house without running an AC, then go ahead and try a dehumidifier. It has been worth its money that I paid for it because it lowers the temperature in our house. And we haven't even turned on the air conditioner downstairs at all. We've ran it 2 nights upstairs. It gets hotter upstairs and we want to sleep comfortably. And we have a small one in our bedroom, but we haven't ran it at all downstairs. And that is greatly enlarged because of the dehumidifier. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I do not run my dryer. I either hang clothes outside or I hang them on a drying rack inside. And that's how I dry my clothes. That also keeps from heating up my house in the summertime, and it keeps my electric bill low. Our electric company says they will hear from people that they didn't do anything different and yet their electric bill went up. They said that is because when it is warmer outside, your systems work harder to keep your house at the same temperature. So if you want to be able to keep your electric bill low, changing that thermostat a degree or two to make up for that extra use will make a huge difference, because your power system on your heating and your cooling will run extra to try to keep your house at a consistent temperature. It will fluctuate that temperature, and that's why sometimes you don't do anything different, but your bill goes up. If you have not set up an account on your electric company's website portal, this is so helpful. This breaks everything down between the different categories in color so you can see where your energy use is going. As you can see here in December and January, we have a lot of red. That was heating costs because we have a little space heater in our room upstairs only because we don't have any heat on the upstairs at all. So you can see where some of this goes, and you can see if you want to make adjustments to it. There is a little section where you can go in and set up your energy detail. You can hover over it and it will show you where your money is going. So right here you can see the stuff that is always on is $1. Our cooking was $2 this month. Entertainment, meaning the TV, the laptop, $3. Laundry, $6. Lighting, $1. Refrigeration, $5, including a little freezer. $5 for our water heating because we shut off the breaker on our electric hot water heater when we're not using it. $3 falls into other, and the average temperature was 63 degrees for April. And if you go over here, you can set up your home profile. It will let you put in the type of appliances and equipment that you have, where you live, and it helps break down that usage so that it's useful for you. It's going to ask the square footage. It's going to ask how many bedrooms you have. I mean, it sets all of this up so that you can kind of get an idea of where your energy costs are going. Now, we don't have a basement, but our electric company says it's really important to check your basement for holes and cracks and to caulk the biggest ones. They said you don't always have to worry about the smaller ones, but if you can get those bigger ones plugged, then it can make a huge difference in your electric bill. Heat rises, so our upstairs is usually way hotter than it is on the bottom floor. And that's why we have to run the AC in our bedroom more often than we run the AC down here on the bottom floor. And we try to not run it. We try to use our blackout curtains and all of the things that we have at our disposal first before we go and turn on the AC. And then when the window unit is not being used, I have it unplugged because it will still pull power if we are not using it. Same with the one upstairs. And sometimes that is a little bit of a hassle to unplug that 3-prong plug-in to the window units. But as infrequently as we use the window units, it doesn't make sense for me to leave them plugged in because we may use the AC upstairs and then not use it again for 3 weeks. So I don't want it plugged in all of that time. Same with the one in the living room. So yeah, it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but it keeps our electric bill very low and manageable. Many people will even keep a window unit as a backup cooling device or maybe even a portable air conditioner. My middle son had his HVAC quit on them last summer. In the dead of the summer, it was so hot. They pay a monthly fee to have this serviced and to take care of it when it goes down. And the people would not honor it. They would not come out because they said they couldn't find anyone on their program in that area. They went for weeks without a AC unit, and he had to buy a window unit and then be able to use that to try to cool his office and some of the other areas in their home until they could get that all worked out. Now, keeping that AC unit is a great backup. If you don't have the money to get your air conditioning system repaired, an AC unit is always a great backup thing to have. Sometimes, depending on where you live, your airflow is not good. I was in a grocery store a few days ago and I heard a lady saying that she had no air conditioner. She was dying. She couldn't even think straight. She was so hot. And she talked about living in an apartment and dealing with the landlord trying to get this fixed. Sometimes those apartment buildings have terrible airflow and you are so hot. And sometimes even in the house, depending on how your house is situated, it can get really hot. We have a lot of trees, which helps kind of insulate our house, but we also have a west side kitchen where the sun goes down. And I don't know why this house was built with a kitchen on the west side, but even my daughter-in-law said when they had looked at houses, she made sure the kitchen was always on the east because it makes it too hot to be able to cook and make your evening meal. So there's just a few things to think about on how to stay cool this summer. I hope some of these things are helpful. Maybe there's some things you hadn't thought about before, and I'm always looking for more ways to save that I can pass on to you. So if you haven't joined the channel, please do that today, and I hope to see you in the next video.